One thought is eternal. One thought becomes the ocean, and one thought turns into the mulberry field. Slay 1,000 demons with one thought, and kill 10,000 immortals with one thought. Solipsism, Eternity. Chapter 1. His name is by Xiaochun. Mao Mountain is located in the Donglin Mountains. There is a village at the foot of the mountain. The folk customs are simple, and they make a living by farming, isolated from the world. In the early morning, in front of the gate of the village, all the villagers in the village are seeing off a 15 or 16-year-old boy. This boy is thin and frail, but he is white and clean. It was washed white and worn on the young man's body, matching with the purity in his eyes, revealing a sense of agility. His name is by Xiaochun. Folks, I'm going to cultivate immortals, but I can't bear to part with you. The boy's face was full of reluctance. His originally well-behaved appearance now looked more simple. The folks around looked at each other in blank dismay, and immediately showed a look of reluctance. Xiaochun, your parents left early. You are a good boy. Don't you want to live forever? If you become a fairy, you can live forever, and you can live for a long time. Let's go. The young eagle grows up, and there will be a day when it will fly out. A gray-haired old man walked out of the crowd, and when he said the word, "Good boy," he paused. If you encounter anything outside, you must persevere. When you leave the village, don't come back, because your road is ahead. The old man looked kindly, and patted the young man on the shoulder. Longevity. Bai Xiaochun's body shook, his eyes slowly became firmer. Under the encouraging eyes of the old man and the villagers around him, he nodded heavily, took a deep look at the villagers around him, turned around, took big steps, and gradually walked out the village. Seeing the boy's figure go away, everyone in the village became excited, and the distress in their eyes was replaced by joy in an instant. The old man, who had a kind face before, was also trembling at this moment, with tears streaming from his eyes. The sky has eyes, this white weasel. He finally left, who told him that he saw a fairy nearby. You have made great contributions to the village. This white weasel is finally willing to leave. Pity the chickens in my house, because this white weasel is afraid of the crowing of chickens. I don't know how to instigate a group of children to eat chicken, and eat up all the chickens in the village. Today is Chinese New Year. The sound of cheers immediately erupted in this small village, and some people even took out gongs and drums and beat them happily. Outside the village, before Bai Xiaochun could go far, he heard the sound of gongs and drums coming from the village behind him, accompanied by cheers. Bai Xiaochun's footsteps stopped. His expression was a bit strange. He gave a dry cough. And accompanied by the sound of gongs and drums in his ears, Bai Xiaochun walked up the mountain road to Mao Mountain. Although Mao Mountain is not high, it has many shrubs. Although it is early in the morning, it looks dark and quiet. I heard from Ergu that when he was chased by a wild boar here a few days ago, he saw a fairy flying in the sky. Bai Xiaochun was walking on the mountain road, and when his heart was beating, suddenly there was a burst of rushing in the bushes beside him. The sound, like a wild boar, came so suddenly that Bai Xiaochun, who was already nervous, suddenly felt chills down his back. Who is there? With his right hand, Bai Xiaochun quickly took out 4 axes and 6 hatchets from the bag. Still feeling uneasy, took out a small black incense stick from his bosom, and grabbed hold of it firmly. Don't come out, don't come out. I have an axe, a machete, and the incense in my hand can summon thunder from the sky, and can attract immortals to descend. If you dare to come out, I will kill you. Bai Xiaochun yelled tremblingly, scrambling and running with those weapons in his arms. Hurriedly ran along the mountain road, clanging and clanging along the way, the axe and hatchet fell all over the ground. Maybe he was really frightened by him, and soon the rattling sound disappeared, and no beasts came out. Bai Xiaochun turned pale, wiped off his cold sweat, and decided to give up and continue up the mountain, but when he thought that the incense stick in his hand was his father, it was left to him by his mother before his death. It is said that his ancestors accidentally rescued a down-and-out fairy. When the fairy left, he left this incense as a reward. He once said that he would accept the blood of the Bai family as a disciple. Will come. But so far, he has lighted this incense more than 10 times, but he has never seen the immortal coming, which made Bai Xiaochun doubt whether the immortal will really come. The reason why he made up his mind this time is that there is not much incense left, and on the other hand it was he who heard from the people in the village that he saw a fairy flying through the sky a few days ago. That's why he came here, thinking that if he was closer to the immortal, maybe the immortal would have noticed it. After hesitating for a while, Bai Xiaochun gritted his teeth and continued. Fortunately, the mountain was not high, and soon he reached the top of the mountain out of breath. Standing there, he looked at the village below the mountain with a rather emotional expression. Incense. This incense seems to have been burned many times, and there is not much left. It has been 3 years, my parents bless me, this time I must succeed. Bai Xiaochun took a deep breath, carefully lit the incense. Immediately there was a gust of wind all around, the sky was even more cloudy in the blink of an eye, lightning flashed across, and deafening thunder exploded directly beside Bai Xiaochun's ears. The sound was so loud and the momentum was so strong that Bai Xiaochun's body trembled, feeling like he would be killed by a thunderbolt at any moment. Subconsciously he wanted to spit to kill the incense, but he struggled to hold back. It has been 3 years. I have lit this incense 12 times, and this is the 13th time. I must hold back this time. Xiaochun is not afraid, he should not be hacked to death. Bai Xiaochun remembered the experience of the past 3 years, not counting this time. I clicked it 12 times. And every time there was such a thunder and lightning, and the fairy did not come. He was so scared that he was afraid of death, and he spit every time to extinguish it. It is strange to say that this incense, it seems extraordinary, but in fact, it will die when you water it. While Bai Xiaochun was terrified and waiting in the midst of the thunder, there was a long rainbow whistling rapidly in the sky not far from here. Inside Changhong is a middle-aged man. This man is gorgeously dressed and has a fairy air, but he is full of travel and dust. Even if you look carefully, you can see the deep exhaustion in his expression. I'd like to see what kind of person he is, who has been burning incense sticks for 3 years. Thinking of his 3 years of experience, the middle-aged man became annoyed. 3 years ago, when he noticed someone igniting the incense medicine he gave him when he was condensing his breath, he remembered a relationship he had in the common world. Only then did he fly out to search for it. Originally, according to his plan, he would come back soon, but he didn't expect it. He just searched for the scent, and before he had waited too far, the scent disappeared instantly and he lost contact. It's fine if it's just one time. In the past 3 years, the breath has appeared more than 10 times. As a result, he was interrupted many times during the search. And he went back and forth like this, tossing for 3 years. At this moment, he saw Mao Mountain in the distance, saw Bai Xiaochun on the top of the mountain. He flew out in a flash without getting angry, and stood on the top of the mountain directly, with a big wave of his hand. The little incense left was immediately extinguished. The thunder disappeared in an instant. Bai Xiaochun was stunned for a moment, looked up, and saw a middle-aged man beside him. Immortal? Bai Xiaochun spoke cautiously, a little unsure, and secretly picked up an axe behind his back. This seat, Li Qingho. Are you a descendant of the Bai family? The middle-aged monk's eyes were like lightning. He ignored the axe behind Bai Xiaochun, looked at Bai Xiaochun, felt that the boy in front of him was handsome, vaguely similar to the old man, and had good qualifications. The annoyance in his heart could not help but ease. The younger generation is the descendant of the Bai family, Bai Xiaochun. Bai Xiaochun blinked and said in a low voice, although he was a little scared, he still stood up straight. Let me ask you. Why did you light a stick of incense for 3 years? The middle-aged monk opened his mouth lightly and asked the question he most wanted to know in the past 3 years. When Bai Xiaochun heard this question, his mind raced. And then he looked at the village down the mountain with a melancholy look on his face. The younger generation is a person who values love and righteousness, and is reluctant to part with those folks. Every time I light incense, they are also reluctant to leave me. Now they are still sad because of my departure. The middle-aged monk was stunned for a moment. The reason was something he hadn't thought of before, and the annoyance in his eyes was less. From the point of view of words alone, this boy's nature is still good. But when his eyes fell on the village at the bottom of the mountain, his consciousness swept over him, and when he heard the beating of gongs and drums in the village and the words cheering the white rat wolf to leave, his complexion immediately became ugly, and he felt a little headache. Looking at the well-behaved and simple-looking Bai Xiaochun, who is harmless to humans and animals, he already knew from the bottom of his heart that the other party was actually full of bad things. To be honest, the middle-aged monk stared, his voice was like thunder, and Bai Xiaochun trembled in fright. Don't blame me. What kind of broken incense is that of yours? Every time you light it, it will thunder, and it almost killed me several times. I have escaped 13 times, it is not easy. Bai Xiaochun said pitifully. The middle-aged monk looked at Bai Xiaochun, speechless for a while. Since you are so scared, why do you forcefully burn incense more than 10 times? The middle-aged monk spoke slowly. I'm afraid of death. Isn't it possible to live forever by cultivating immortals? I want to live forever. Bai Xiaochun said aggrievedly. The middle-aged monk was speechless again, but he felt that this boy was finally obsessed, and he might be able to change his temperament by throwing him into the sect for training. So after a little thought, he flicked his sleeves and rolled Bai Xiaochun into a long rainbow, heading straight to the sky. Follow me. Where to go? That's too high. Bai Xiaochun saw himself flying in the sky, with the abyss below him. His face turned pale immediately. He threw the axe, and hugged the immortal's thigh tightly. The middle-aged monk glanced at his legs, and spoke helplessly. Lingxi Sect. Chapter 2: The Fire Stove Room. Lingxi Sect is located in Donglin Continent, which belongs to the lower branch of Tongtian River. It is based on the north and south banks of Tongtian River. It has a history of 10,000 years and has shocked the world. 8 shocking mountain peaks shrouded in clouds and mist lie across the Tongtian River. Among them, there are 4 peaks on the north bank and 3 peaks on the south bank. As for the Tongtian River in the middle, there is one of the most majestic peaks. The mountain is covered with snow from the middle, and the end can't be seen clearly, only the lower half of the mountain is hollowed out, making the golden river rush across like a mountain bridge. At this moment, outside the south bank of the Lingxi sect, a long rainbow galloped towards it. The middle-aged monk Li Qingho led Bai Xiaojun into the handyman area under the third peak, and Bai Xiaojun's screams could be faintly heard inside the long rainbow. Bai Xiaojun felt that he was going to be frightened to death. He saw countless mountains during the flight, and felt that he would not be able to catch the opponent's thigh several times. There was a blur in front of him, and when it was clear, he had already arrived outside an attic. After he fell to the ground, his legs trembled, and he looked around at a world completely different from that in the village. Next to the attic in front, there is a big stone with 3 big characters written on it. Handyman Office. Sitting next to the boulder was a pockmarked woman. Seeing Li Qingho coming, she immediately got up to pay her respects. Send this son to the fire stove room. Li Qingho left a word, ignored by Xiaojun, turned around and turned into Changhong and walked away. The pockmarked woman was startled when she heard the word Huozifang, glanced at Bai Xiaojun, gave Bai Xiaojun a cloth bag of a sect handyman, explained it expressionlessly, and led Bai Xiaojun out of the attic. There are countless, bluestone paved roads, and the fragrance of flowers and plants, like a fairyland, watching Bai Xiaojun's heart fluttering, and the tension and apprehension in his heart are also a little less. What a place! This place is much better than the village. Bai Xiaojun's eyes showed anticipation. As he walked, the further he went, the more beautiful the surrounding scenery became. He even saw some beautiful women passing by from time to time, which made Bai Xiaojun immediately fall in love with this place. Up! After a while, Bai Xiaojun was even happier, especially at the end of the front. He saw a 7-story attic. The whole body was crystal clear, and there were even cranes flying in the sky. Sister, are we there yet? Bai Xiaojun asked excitedly. Well, there it is. The pockmarked woman remained expressionless, opened her mouth lightly, and pointed to the path beside her. When Bai Xiaojun followed the other person's pointing point and looked expectantly, he froze, rubbed his eyes and looked carefully, and saw that the road was broken in many places, and the surroundings were even more tattered. The room seemed to collapse at any time, and there was even some strange smell coming from there. Bai Xiaojun wanted to cry, but held on to the last glimmer of hope, and asked the pockmarked woman, Senior sister, you made a mistake. No. The pockmarked woman said lightly, walking on this path first. Bai Xiaojun felt that all the good things collapsed in an instant, and followed with a bitter face. After not walking far, he saw several big black pots scurrying around at the end of this dilapidated path. When he looked carefully, there was a big fat man under each big black pot. They can all flow oily, not ordinary fat, especially the fattest guy inside, who looks like a meat mountain. Bai Xiaojun is worried about whether he will explode. Around those fat people, there are hundreds of big pots, and these fat people are adding water and rice. Sensing that someone was coming, especially when he saw the pockmarked woman, Roshan immediately looked surprised, and ran over sideways with a large spoon in his hand. The ground trembled, and his fat body trembled countless waves. Look around for an axe. Xiaoshen heard the magpies calling this morning. It turned out that it was you who came, sister. Could it be that you have changed your mind and think that I am a bit talented? Taking advantage of this fine day, I want to form a Taoist couple with Xiaoshen. Roshan's eyes revealed a squinting light, and he ran and shouted excitedly. I send this son to join your fire stove room. He has been brought. Farewell." When the pockmarked woman saw Roshan, her complexion was extremely ugly, and she was a little annoyed, so she quickly backed away. Bai Xiaochun took a deep breath. He noticed the pockmarked woman along the way. That appearance is simply uncanny. What kind of taste is this big fat man in front of him? Unexpectedly he can look like this. Before Bai Xiaochun could finish his thoughts, Roshan appeared in front of him with a whoosh, directly covering the sunlight and shrouding Bai Xiaochun in the shadow. Bai Xiaochun looked up at the huge fat man in front of him, whose flesh was still shaking, swallowed hard. It was the first time he saw such a fat man. Roshan looked away from the direction where the pockmarked woman left with a resentful face, and glanced at Bai Xiaochun. "Hey, there's a newcomer here. It's not easy to squeeze out Su Baokai, who was originally arranged." "Senior brother, I'm here." Bai Xiaochun. Bai Xiaochun felt that the other party's burly body was putting too much pressure on him, so he subconsciously took a few steps back. "Bai Xiaochun? Well, fair skin, small and exquisite, and very pure appearance, not bad. Your name is very suitable for my taste." Roshan's eyes lit up, and he patted Bai Xiaochun's shoulder, almost knocking Bai Xiaochun down. "I don't know the name of the senior brother." Bai Xiaochun took a deep breath, rolled his eyes, and looked at Roshan with contempt, thinking in his heart that he should also play with the other party's name. "My name is Zhang Depeng, that is Huang Erpeng, and He Sampeng." Roshan chuckled. When Bai Xiaochun heard these names, he was very moved, and immediately lost the idea of playing around. "As for you, I will be called by Joe from now on. Junior brother, you are too skinny. Going out like this will embarrass our Huozafang, but it doesn't matter. Don't worry, you will get fat in a year at most, and you will be called by Japang from now on." Zhang Depeng patted his chest, his fat trembling wildly. Hearing the words by Japang, Bai Xiaochun's face was full of bitterness. "Now that you are the 9th junior brother, you are not an outsider. Our fire stove has always had a tradition of carrying the pot. See the pot behind me. It is the king of pots. It is made of fine iron and engraved with ground fire. Array, the taste of ling meat cooked in this pot is beyond ordinary. There are too many pots. You also have to choose one, and carry it on your back in the future. It will be majestic." Zhang Depeng patted the big black pot on his back, and boasted, "Brother, can I forget about the blame?" Bai Xiaochun glanced at the blame behind Fatty Zhang, and suddenly felt like everyone in the stove room was blamed, and thought for a moment that he was blamed the appearance, said hastily, "How can we do that? Carrying a pot is a tradition in our Huozafang. When you are in the sect, people will not dare to bully you as long as they see you carrying a pot and know that you are from the Huozafang. It has a lot of background." Fatty Zhang winked at Bai Xiaochun, and without any explanation, he carried Bai Xiaochun to the back of the thatched hut, where thousands of cauldrons were densely stacked. Most of them were covered with a thick layer of dust. Obviously no one came for a long time. "9th junior brother, you choose a bite. We are going to cook. Otherwise the rice will be mushy, and those outer disciples will yell again." Fatty Zhang yelled, turned around and started scurrying around the hundreds of pots with the other fat guys. Bai Xiaochun sighed, looked at the pots, and was thinking about which one to choose, when he suddenly saw a pot under pressure in the corner. "This pot is a bit special, not round, but oval. It doesn't look like a pot, but like a turtle shell, and there seems to be some faint lines." "Huh?" Bai Xiaochun's eyes lit up. He walked over quickly, knelt down and looked carefully. then moved it out. After careful inspection, his eyes showed satisfaction. He has liked tortoises since he was a child, because tortoises represent longevity, and the reason why he came to practice immortality is for longevity. Now he sees that the pot looks like a tortoise shell. In his opinion, it is very auspicious and a good omen. After moving the pot out, Fatty Zhang saw it from a distance, and ran over with a big spoon. Ninth junior brother, why did you choose this one? This pot has been there for many years, and no one has used it. Because it looks like a turtle shell. No one has ever chosen to carry it on their backs. This. Ninth junior brother, are you sure? Fatty Zhang patted his stomach, kindly persuading him. Sure, I want this pot. The more Bai Xiaochun looked at this pot, the more he liked it, he said firmly. Fatty Zhang persuaded him again. Seeing that Bai Xiaochun insisted on this, he looked at him strangely, said no more. After arranging for Bai Xiaochun a thatched hut to live in the Huozifang, he went back to work. It was dusk now. Bai Xiaochun was in the thatched hut, carefully looked at the turtle-shaped pot, and found that there were dozens of streaks on the back of the pot, but it was dim, and it was hard to spot if you didn't look carefully. He immediately thought that this pot was extraordinary, and carefully placed it on the stove. Then he looked at the house he lived in. The house was very simple, with a small bed, a table and chairs, and the daily necessities on the wall bronze mirror. When he was looking around the room, there was a purple light on the plain pot behind him, which disappeared in a flash. For Bai Xiaochun, a lot of things happened that day. Even though he came to the fairy world he had dreamed of, he was still a bit at a loss. After a while, he took a deep breath, expectant in his eyes. I want to live forever. Bai Xiaochun sat by the side and took out the bag given by the pockmarked woman at the handyman's office. Inside there is a pill, a wooden sword, an incense stick, the clothes and tokens of the handyman, and finally a bamboo book with a few small characters on it. Ziki controlling Ding Gong, Qi condensation chapter. At dusk, when Zhang Depang and others were busy in the stove room, Bai Xiaochun in the house was looking at the bamboo book with anticipation in his eyes. He came here for longevity, and the gate of longevity is in his hands at this moment. After taking a few deep breaths, Bai Xiaochun opened the bamboo book and read it. After a while, Bai Xiaochun's eyes showed excitement. There are 3 pictures on the bamboo book. According to the above, the practice is divided into 2 realms, condensation qi and foundation establishment. The 10 layers of qi. And every time you reach the first level, you can control foreign objects for your own use. When you reach the 3rd level, you can control objects whose weight is half a tripod. It is a whole tripod, and as for the final dzogchen, it is an object that can control the weight of 2 tripods. It's just that the skills in the bamboo book are only the first 3 levels, and the rest are not recorded, and if you want to practice, you need to follow specific breathing and movements before you can practice the purple qi controlling cauldron kung fu. Bai Xiaochun pulled himself together, adjusted his breathing, closed his eyes and posed for the first picture on the bamboo book. He only lasted for 3 breaths, and then he screamed with pain all over his body. He couldn't hold on any longer. Feel gas is not enough. It's too difficult. It said in the first picture of this practice, you can feel a trace of qi swimming in your body, but I don't feel anything except uncomfortable. Bai Xiaochun was a little distressed, but for the sake of longevity, he gritted his teeth and tried again, stumbling like this. Until the evening, he still didn't feel the qi in his body. He didn't know that even for a person with excellent aptitude, without external force, it would take at least a month to simply cultivate the first level of the purple chi cauldron control kung fu. And it was impossible for him to be here for only a few hours. There is a sense of air. At this moment, his whole body was sore. Bai Xiaochun stretched his waist, and was about to wash his face. Suddenly, there was a burst of noise from outside the door. Bai Xiaochun stuck his head out of the window, and immediately saw a sallow and thin young man standing with a livid face outside the gate of the courtyard of Huazhao House. Chapter 3 6 Mantras. As soon as Bai Xiaochun stretched his head like this, the sallow and thin young man immediately saw that his eyes fell on Bai Xiaochun's face with a menacing look. It was you who took my place. Not me. It was too late for Bai Xiaochun to shrink his head. So he quickly put on an innocent look. Nonsense, you are so thin and your head is so small, you are clearly new here. Su Baokai clenched his fists and glared at Bai Xiaochun. It really has nothing to do with me. Seeing the opponent's anger seemed to explode, Bai Xiaochun felt aggrieved and said in a low voice, I don't care. 3 days later, Zongmen Nampo, you and I will fight to the death. If you win, Su bears it. If you lose, this quota will belong to me. Su Baokai spoke loudly, drew a bloody book from his arms, and threw it directly on the windowsill in front of Bai Xiaochun, on which were densely written countless scarred words. Bai Xiaochun looked at the blood book and saw so many blood-colored killing characters on it. He just felt the murderous aura rushing towards his face, and his heart shuddered, especially when he heard the other party say that he wanted to fight to the death. He took a deep breath. Brother, what a big deal, writing so many words with my own blood, how painful it is. What a big deal. I've been saving money all these years, and I've saved spirit stones for 7 years, 7 years, 7 years. Pay filial piety to the deacon, and only then did you get a qualification to enter the fire stove room, but you stepped in. I am at odds with you. After 3 days, either you will die or I will live. Su Baokai was hysterical and gritted his teeth. I'm not going. Bai Xiaochun quickly picked up the bloody book with his fingertips and threw it out of the windowsill. You! Just as Su Baokai was about to get angry, he felt the ground tremble, and there was already a mountain of meat beside him. At some point, Fatty Zhang was already standing there, looking at Su Baokai coldly. Jill Fatty, go wash the dishes with your second senior brother. As for you, don't yell here and go play. Fatty Zhang waved his hand, causing gusts of wind. Su Baocai's complexion changed, and he took a few steps back again and again, wanting to say something, but he held back after seeing Fatty Zhang, and finally gave Bai Xiaochun a venomous look, before leaving resentfully. Bai Xiaochun thought about it, and felt that the other party's gaze was too sinister when he left. To be on the safe side, he decided that it's better not to set fire to the kitchen at will. If he stays here, the other party should not dare to come in. After a few days, Bai Xiaochun gradually got used to the work in the Huazhao room, and at night he began to practice the purple chi controlling cauldron kung fu, but unfortunately the progress was slow, and he still couldn't persist for more than 4 breaths, which made Bai Xiaochun very distressed. That night, when he was cultivating, he suddenly heard the excited voices of those fat brothers in the stove room from outside. The door is closed, the door is closed. Huang Erpeng, go and close the door. Hey Sam Peng, go and check around to see if anyone is peeping. Bai Xiaochun was taken aback for a moment. This time he learned to be smart. Instead of looking through the window, he looked along the crack of the door, and saw a few fat people outside who were extremely agile, walking like flying in the yard, mysterious and busy. Soon, the door of the fire stove room was closed tightly, and someone did not know what method was used in the surrounding area, and a thin layer of mist actually formed, making the figures of those fat people even more mysterious. Bai Xiaochun watched for a long time until he saw that those fat guys were no longer scurrying around, but mysteriously gathered together in front of a thatched hut. Even through the mist, he could clearly see Fatty Zhang's mighty figure, as if he was bowing down there. He said something aloud. He felt that it was better for him to know less about the secrets, so he stepped back a little, trying to make a gesture that he didn't see. But at this moment, Fatty Zhang's voice came. "Nine Fatty, you have seen it all, hurry up and come here." The voice was not too loud, it seemed to be suppressed deliberately. Bai Xiaochun blinked, with an obedient look on his face, walking out as harmless as humans and animals. As soon as he approached, Fatty Zhang grabbed Bai Xiaochun and brought Bai Xiaochun to his side. Bai Xiaochun, who was surrounded by a few fat people, immediately smelled a different smell, inhaled it into his nostrils, it turned into countless warm currents, and melted into the air. Whole body. Looking at the other people, they all looked refreshed. Bai Xiaochun lifted his spirits and saw a Ganoderma the size of a baby's head held in Fatty Zhang's hands. "Ninth junior brother, come, have a bite." Fatty Zhang glanced at Bai Xiaochun, handed over the Ganoderma lucidum in his hand, and said naively, "Ah?" Bai Xiaochun looked at the Ganoderma lucidum, and then at the fat senior brothers around him. Seeing Bai Xiaochun hesitated, Fatty Zhang immediately became angry, as if you don't eat, we will never finish. Not only him, but Huang Erpeng, He Sanpang and others around him were also like this, staring at Bai Xiaochun. Bai Xiaochun swallowed his saliva. This kind of gifted Ganoderma lucidum, which is so valuable and extraordinary, was given to him like a drumstick, and he insisted on forcing himself to eat a bite. And if he didn't eat it, he would turn his face. He had encountered it in his dreams, and in reality it was the first time. Bai Xiaochun's heart was pounding. He gritted his teeth, took the Ganoderma, and took a big bite. The Ganoderma meat melted in his mouth, and after it melted into his whole body, he felt a sense of relief countless times stronger than before, making Bai Xiaochun's face flush red up. Well, after eating the 100-year-old Ganoderma lucidum that elder son named to be used in the soup, we are really our own. Big Fatty Zhang looked satisfied. He also took a bite, ate a small piece, and threw it to the next fat man. Soon, everyone ate the Ganoderma lucidum in a circle. And when they looked at Bai Xiaochun, they all also show your own smile. Bai Xiaochun chuckled, and immediately understood that this was a conspiracy, and it's okay for these senior brothers to eat so fat. It's safe to think this way of eating. No wonder that Su Baokai wanted to write so many killing words. Brother, this Ganoderma lucidum is so delicious, I feel hot all over after eating it. Bai Xiaochun licked his lips, and looked at Zhang Depang eagerly. When Fatty Zhang heard this, his eyes lit up. He laughed loudly, took out a piece of Huang Jing from his bosom, and handed it to Bai Xiaochun. Junior brother, now that you know this place is all right, senior brother didn't lie to you before, eat so you will be full from now on. Bai Xiaochun's eyes sparkled. He caught it and took a big bite. Just after eating, Zhang Depang took out another earth treasure. This earth treasure was golden in color and full of fragrance. This time Fatty Zhang didn't need to speak. Bai Xiaochun quickly bit it down. his mouth full of sweet and sour, feeling refreshed. Then Big Fatty Zhang took out another red spiritual fruit, which smelled sweet and greasy, and there was still a trace of cheese swirling inside. So in the following time, Bai Xiaochun ate all the Ganoderma lucidum, herbs, spiritual fruits, earth treasures, and the other fat guys, until Bai Xiaochun felt dizzy before his eyes, as if he was drunk, and his whole body became hot. Even white smoke came out from the top of his head, and he felt that his body had gained a lot of weight. As he continued to eat, the gazes of Zhang Depang and the others became softer and softer. At the end, they all patted their stomachs and laughed, with a sense of complicity in their laughter. Bai Xiaochun was drunk and dizzy, let go of his hands and feet, slapped Zhang Depang's stomach with one hand, stepped on the side with one foot, and laughed likewise. The other room in this handyman's office broke their heads in order to get a quota of outer disciples, and we also broke our heads in order to lose a quota of outer disciples. No one wants to go. How good it is to be an outer disciple. The more Fatty Zhang looked at Bai Xiaochun, the more he felt right-tempered, said proudly, and took out another ginseng. The ginseng had innumerable knots on its head, and the beards were densely packed. It could be seen that it was quite old. Ninth junior brother, each of us has already cultivated enough to become outer disciples, but we have to hide it. Look, this is a century-old ginseng. In order to eat a bite, the outer disciple broke his head. Look at our. Fatty Zhang directly tore off a beard, threw it in his mouth, swallowed it crunchily, and handed the ginseng to Bai Xiaochun. Senior brother, I'm full. I really can't eat this time. Bai Xiaochun's eyes were blurred. He was really holding on. When he was about to speak, Zhang Dafet pulled out a beard and stuffed it directly into his mouth. Ninth junior brother, you are too thin. If you go out like this, which girl in the Zongmen would like it? Our Zongmen likes all the seniors who are as powerful and plump as us. Come, eat. There is a couplet in our Huozafang called Mingzai Huozao, starved to death. Don't go outside to fight for the front. Fatty Zhang burped, took out a stack of empty bowls, and pointed to the thatched hut next to him, where a pair of couplets hung. Yes, yes, we're all starving here, all starving. Looking at this couplet, Bai Xiaochun patted his stomach and burped. Zhang Depang and others laughed out loud when they heard this, and felt that Bai Xiaochun was getting cuter and cuter. I am happy today, brother Ninth. Let me tell you a lesson. We are very particular about eating in the fire stove. There is a formula, brother Ninth. You have to remember, Ling Zhu eats the corners, the main pole cannot be touched, and the meat is cut with a ruthless knife. Remove the bones and leave 3 points, add more water to the spirit porridge, and half a cup of fine wine. These 6 mantras have been summed up by the martyrs over the years. You just have to eat according to this, and make sure nothing happens. That's it. Let's leave. Today's supper is over, and those outer disciples are still waiting for their soup. While Zhang Depang was talking, he poured rice soup into each bowl. Bai Xiaochun was in a daze. His mind was full of those 6 mantras. He glanced at Zhang Depang and others who were pouring rice soup, and then at the mouthful of the bowl. After a hiccup, he squatted down and picked up an empty bowl, and looked carefully at it. After looking at it, he grinned. Brother, this bowl is not very good. Zhang Depang and others looked at Bai Xiaochun after hearing this, showing a surprised expression. Look at this bowl. It doesn't look big, but it actually holds a lot. Why don't we make it look big, but actually hold very little? For example, the bottom of this bowl is thicker? Bai Xiaochun said with a smile on his well-behaved appearance. Fatty Zhang was stunned, feeling as if he was being struck by thunder. The fat on his body slowly trembled. His eyes glowed. The other fat guys also had shortness of breath, and their fat bodies were trembling. With a snap, Fatty Zhang slapped his thigh violently and laughed loudly. Okay, this is a good idea that will last forever and benefit countless juniors in my Huozafang. I didn't expect Brother Jiao to look so obedient and have such a good stomach. Haha, you are born to do it. The material of the fire stove. Chapter 4 Spirit Refining. Everyone was overjoyed, and when they looked at Bai Xiaochun, they liked it to the extreme, and felt that Bai Xiaochun was not only cute, but also had a lot of bad water in his stomach. So Zhang Depang made the decision and rewarded Bai Xiaochun with a grain of spiritual rice, which was stuffed in Bai Xiaochun's hand. Bai Xiaochun smiled happily, and returned to the room in a daze. Before he climbed onto the bed, the aura of countless geniuses and earth treasures accumulated in his body exploded, his head fainted, and he fell directly to the ground, screaming loudly. Sleep. This feeling was sweet and extraordinary. The next morning, Bai Xiaochun opened his eyes, feeling refreshed. When he lowered his head, he found that he had gained a lot of weight. His whole body was sticky and covered with a layer of black dirt. He hurriedly went out to wash it off. The others were busy with the disciples' breakfast. When they saw Bai Xiaochun's appearance, they all laughed. Brother Ninth, those dirts are impurities in your body. After removing them, your cultivation will be much smoother. You don't need your help for a few days, and you will be working in a few days. That grain of spiritual rice is a good thing. Remember to eat it quickly. If it is left for a long time, it will be bad. Bai Xiaochun was refreshed, nodded in response, returned to the room. His eyes fell on the turtle-shaped pot. He simply carried it out to wash it, brought it back to the room and put it on the stove, and took the grain of spiritual rice in his hand, looking at it. This rice is about the size of a little finger, crystal clear and smooth, exuding bursts of fragrance. The food that the immortal eats is really extraordinary. Bai Xiaochun sighed, and lit a few pieces of wood in the stove. As soon as it burned, a rush of heat rushed to his face, making Bai Xiaochun's eyes burn, and he quickly stepped back, looking at the fire in the stove, amazed. This fire is not ordinary. Not only does it burn fast, it is also much hotter than the fire in the village. Bai Xiaochun looked at the wood in the fire stove again, and felt that this wood should be pretty good. At this moment, as the flame ignited, Bai Xiaochun saw in amazement that the first streak on the turtle-shaped pot started to become brighter from bottom to top, and soon this streak spread from the beginning to the end. All light up. Bai Xiaochun was stunned for a moment, then suddenly slapped his thigh. Let me just say, this is a treasure. It must be better than the big brother's pot. Bai Xiaochun felt more and more that this pot was extraordinary, so he quickly threw the lingmi into the pot. Sitting aside and waiting, he picked up the bamboo book of Ziki Ding Gong, and started to practice according to the movements and breathing in the first picture in it. Almost as soon as he practiced, Bai Xiaochun opened his eyes wide. He found that this very difficult posture yesterday was actually extremely smooth, without the slightest uncomfortable feeling. Even the way of breathing did not appear to suffocate anymore. It's a very comfortable feeling, especially the time of persistence. He clearly remembered that it was 3 or 4 breaths at most before, but now 7 or 8 breaths have passed, and there is no slight pain. Holding back his excitement, Bai Xiaochun calmed himself down until he lasted for 30 breaths. When he felt a slight soreness in his body, Suddenly, a ray of air appeared from his body. Although it dissipated without a full circle, it still made Bai Xiaochun jump excitedly. "I'm angry, haha, I'm angry." Bai Xiaochun was ecstatic, walking up and down the house, and also thought that it must be the reason for those heavenly materials and earthly treasures that he ate last night, and felt that he had eaten less. No wonder senior brother Zhang said that Ning died of starvation in the fire stove, instead of going to the outer sect to fight. Such a good thing, the outer sect disciples would not have. Bai Xiaochun quickly sat down and practiced again. This time, he followed the breathing method of the first layer of Ziki Yudingong and the movements in the first picture, and he persisted until he reached 60 breaths. At the moment when he reached 60 breaths, a strand in his body became bigger than before. The twice as many qi meridians immediately sprouted, moving quickly through his body like a trickle. Bai Xiaochun gained experience, and quickly followed the marks on the first picture, silently thinking about several roots in his body. Soon, the qi in his body trickled along the root according to what Bai Xiaochun thought, and as Bai Xiaochun was still insisting on posing the first picture, he even felt a trace of cold air flowing from his body, drilling out from various positions, like water droplets, blending into the trickle of the air veins, making the trickle bigger and bigger. In the end, it turned into a small stream, and after swimming around completely, Bai Xiaochun's whole body was shaken, and there was a bang sound in his mind as if clouds and mist were being pushed away. An unprecedented sense of lightness immediately appeared on his body, and lumps of dirt continuously secreted from the sweat pores. And the creak in his body didn't dissipate as before, but always existed, slowly swimming through the whole body on its own. Bai Xiaochun opened his eyes. The eyes were clearer, with a lot more agility. Even the body obviously feels much lighter. The qi veins are always there, which is the performance of the first level of Ziki Yuding Kung Fu, and it also represents the first level of condensing qi. Bai Xiaochun couldn't help but ran out to wash it again. After Zhang Depang and others saw it, they showed a smile that they understood each other. Although they were surprised that Bai Xiaochun had cultivated to the first level so quickly, they understood the reason. Back in the house again, Bai Xiaochun took a few deep breaths, picked up the bamboo book beside him, and read it carefully. After the first level of the purple energy control tripod skill is completed, some objects can be controlled. This is the magic of an immortal, and it can capture objects from a distance. Bai Xiaochun's eyes lit up, and according to the above method, he pinched out a simple seal with both hands, pointed at the table next to him, and immediately he felt the stream in his body, like a wild horse running away, go straight to his right index finger, and even more so, is off the fingertips. It seemed to form an invisible silk thread, which was connected to the table. Unfortunately, as soon as it was connected, the thread became unstable and shattered with a snap. Bai Xiaochun's complexion was slightly pale, and it took him a long time to recover. After careful consideration, he gave up the table and took out the wooden sword in his pocket. This wooden sword was made of some kind of wood. Although it was not as heavy as the table, it was also somewhat heavy. He raised a finger with his right hand. The wooden sword shook suddenly, and slowly floated up, but it only rose an inch before falling down again. Bai Xiaochun was not discouraged, excitedly tried many times. The wooden sword also fell from the initial height of 1 inch, and became 10 inches, 20 inches, 30 inches. At dusk, the wooden sword in his room, the wooden sword has been able to float away in a straight line. Although the speed is not fast and it is difficult to turn, it will not fall as easily as it did in the early days. From now on, I, Bai Xiaochun, will be a fairy. Bai Xiaochun stood there with a proud look, with his left hand behind his back, his right hand raised and swung forward. The wooden sword wobbled and flew back and forth. It wasn't until the breath in his body became unstable that Bai Xiaochun withdrew the wooden sword and was about to continue his practice when he suddenly smelled bursts of fragrance coming from the pot beside him. He also forgot that Lingyi was still cooking in the pot, and stepped forward to open the lid. The moment the lid was opened, a strong aroma emanated from the spiritual rice in the pot, but on the spiritual rice, for some reason, a glaring silver streak appeared. The silver streaks are very obvious. When you look closely, you even have a sense of breathtaking, but as time goes by, it gradually turns dark silver. Bai Xiaochun narrowed his eyes, thought for a while, took out the grain of spiritual rice, and held it in his hand. Check it out. This pattern looks familiar. Bai Xiaochun's eyes were full of thought. He looked down at the stove, and found that the fire inside had already been extinguished, and even the wood had turned to ashes, and the bright pattern on the pot had also dimmed again. He immediately recognized that the silver pattern on the spiritual rice was exactly the same as the pattern on the back of the pot. Suppressing the doubts in his heart, for safety's sake, Bai Xiaochun didn't eat the rice, but put it in a cloth bag. After thinking for a while, he walked out of the house and worked with Zhang Depang and others. Time passed, and half a month passed in a flash. In the past half-month, Bai Xiaochun's practice stopped again, and his progress was slow. However, he also found out that when others cook lingmi, there will be no silver streaks. Out of curiosity, he felt more and more that something was wrong with his grain of rice, especially the pot. He felt even weirder. Finally, a few days later, when He Sanpeng went out to buy what he needed, he went there 4C's room, where he found out the handyman can go to the place where he knows the common sense of practice. After returning from Siheifang, Bai Xiaochun's heart was beating violently. He held back his surprise until he returned to the room. He immediately took out the grain of spiritual rice, carefully looked at the silver pattern on it, and his eyes slowly showed disbelief. For immortals to practice, there are 3 indispensable refinements, which are medicine refining, tool refining and spirit refining. Bai Xiaochun thought about the pictures of refining spirits in the classics he checked in the 4C's room. And comparing them with the silver streaks on the spirit rice, they looked more and more similar. Alchemy. After a long while, he let out a long breath. Refining spirits is a method of forcibly injecting the power of heaven and earth into items in a special way. It is like exercising the law of creation instead of heaven and plunging the power of heaven and earth to strengthen them. Whether it is medicine, or magic weapon, it can refine spirits. Therefore, it is not allowed by heaven and earth. So there is a certain probability that if it succeeds, the power of the item will be greatly increased, and if it fails, the item will directly become waste under the power of heaven and earth. And the most amazing thing about refining spirits is that they can be superimposed and refined. And even if you can successfully refine spirits 10 times, you can make items undergo earth-shaking changes. And the more precious it is, the more terrifying it will be after superimposing the spirit refinement. It's just that the further you go, the lower the chance of success. Even some spirit masters dare not try it lightly. After all, the price of failure is unbearable. It is said in the classics that the treasure of my Lingxi sect's protection is a Tianjiao sword that has been refined 10 times by a great chance. Bai Xiaochun felt a little dry mouth, swallowed a mouthful of saliva, his eyes showed shock and even more confusion. He subconsciously looked at the dozens of dark lines on the tortoise-patterned pot. The beating speed of his heart seemed to be from his chest, like popping out. At this moment, he has confirmed that the reason why Lingmi's spirit-refining pattern appears is because of this pot. After hesitating for a while, Bai Xiaochun gritted his teeth. If he didn't solve this mystery, he would not be able to sleep, but he also knew that if this pot was really good, then this kind of secret must not be known to the second person. So it was late at night before he cautiously came to the pot. After taking a deep breath, he took out the wooden sword controlled by him, and threw it into the pot just like he dropped the Lingmi that day.